Hi everyone, how are you doing? I'm your host Kulsum, and you are watching Voices of the Gambia. It's a program where we give people the floor to express their own truth, but also for them to share their ideas. So, welcome! Hey, so long story short, but I've been traveling the Gambia for 6 months now. During this time, I've been filming my whole journey to make sure I can do some cool vlogs for you to immerse you in this country that I'm discovering right now. Yes, this is beautiful and everything I do is amazing. But I came to a point where I had to ask myself, is that it? Is it really how I can best share with you the feeling of this crazy adventure? I thought to myself, girl, when you're going to leave this country, apart from the landscape, apart from the beautiful sunsets, yeah, they're really beautiful though. Apart from all of this, what is really going to stick in your mind? I know for a fact that what's gonna stay is definitely the many encounters that I've made. I will never forget the laughs that were shared, the people who welcomed me so warmly in their homes, in their country. I will never forget the discussions that were shared. And you know what? These discussions that we shared here are really the most precious gift that I keep from this journey. First of all, we need to say that people here in the Gambia are so welcoming and so helpful. When we say Nyokobok, it's not a joke there, and also it's even more special because the Gambia is not the most well-known country yet. So I really think this story of this country deserves to be told by the locals themselves. This story deserves to be told by the people who live here, who are actually part of the everyday life of this country. And you know, I had all these thoughts I was working with, and somehow that's how the idea of Voices of the Gambia was born. Welcome to a series of intimate discussions with people that struck me. People that I met and thought to myself, God damn, I wish even my worst enemy would know you one day. Hey, you are something. Well, you got the idea, so without further ado, let's hop into it. Let's go for this first episode. It's a discussion, not an interview. And today we are welcoming my friend Joseph Falodun for a discussion on the following topic. What is it for you to be a creative in the Gambia? I know you are eager to hear about it now, so tighten your seatbelt, get ready, and let's go for this first chill time together. Before the presentation, how are you? Thank you for coming. And
I think it's such a delight and a privilege to be here. So first
you
off,
very
thank you
much.
for thinking you could reach out to me to talk to. Yeah, so I'm good. I'm fine, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. Maybe you can give us a quick presentation for the people who don't know you. What's your name? Are you a Gambian or not? Are you from the Gambia or not? From which tribe? What's your job? And we talked about creativity. We're going to get deeper after, but what kind of creative things do you do? Just briefly.
Okay, that seems like a summary question, but that's a lot in one. Anyways,
Wikipedia page, please.
I know.
All of the...
All right, so my name is Joseph. Many times I just leave it at my first name, but for this purpose of this, my name is Joseph Falodun. I'm Nigerian and I've been in the Gambia for 3 years plus now. It's May 3 years in February 25th of 2024. So yes, 3 years and 2 months, I think, March and April. Yeah.
It's fresh also.
So, it looks like it's been a long time, and some other times you sit and like, oh, it just looks like yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of both feelings. And when you think about it, it's been a good experience for me. Coming to Gambia was the first time I was living in Nigeria, but within Nigeria, traveled away from home because Nigeria is quite big. So I schooled away from home. I've been in and out of home, but living Nigeria as a whole was the first time coming to Gambia. But within the Gambia, I've had the privileges of being to Senegal a couple of times, and I was at Cameroon in 2022 for the AFCON. Yeah, that was with work also actually. So yeah, I think Gambia has welcomed me so well. There's been good and bad parts of it. I had experiences though, but majorly I've been here 3 years and here I am. So I think it's been good. And yeah, I'm a creative. I like to not limit myself to just making films or working with the camera, because that's like maybe one aspect of bringing to life some of the things I have going through my head. I love to say I am a thinker. I love to think. I love to create things in my head. So I could just sit and watch people or watch things. Or I'm seeing a movie and in my head I'm thinking, what's going through this guy's mind? Or I'm thinking of something else from that. I've even thought of making a movie around the game of chess. I mean, there's been a lot of movies, but this is a totally different thing. And when I say it's different, I mean it's different. But I love to create things in my head. I love to solve problems also. And initially, because of my love for solving problems, I actually studied marine engineering. So yes, I have an engineering background. But along the line, I realized that, hey, Joseph, you actually are a people person. You like to deal with people, engage with people, and it was difficult for me to sometimes keep myself away from people. So a lot of times I'm by myself, and people just entrust things with me. People talk about things with me, and over the years I realized that, okay, my problem solving skill was not just with things and fixing things, but it was also with people. A lot of times I used to think of myself as someone that was boring, because the kind of conversations I wanted to have with anybody I met was, oh, what's your plan for life? Okay, where you are, what do you see, where do you see yourself in years? So, and I love to do that with young people. So I felt like, okay, so if I'm going to add all of these things together, I think I need to be in a space that allows me to, voice my ideas, to be able to reach out to people more. And that's how media started for me in 2017, and I started interning with a TV house in Nigeria at the time. And the rest, they say, is history. I'm here in Gambia, and I'm, working as a creative also with Africa and doing other things on the side.
So, without asking you why you came to the Gambia, was coming to the Gambia part of making it more easy for you to be a creative?
Until the time I came to Gambia, I never knew Gambia. I mean, it was that bad. So I was, like I said, so I've been doing this in Nigeria, and I was working. It was a night, and I got a call from a friend and said, oh, there's this particular company in the Gambia. They have a production that's supposed to do, and they need, hands to work on the project. So at the time, it was the Africell Be a Star show. It was in 2021. They had a third-party company, handling the production for them. So the company needed, other people to work, and that's how I got the call. This was in December, and the whole processing happened between then and the end of January. And on the 25th of February, I was in Gambia. I was meant to be for just the production, and back and forth with the company. I said, okay, we want you to work with us for a year. I've worked with the company, and now this is 3 years. I'm still in the Gambia. Afterwards, Africell came into the picture, and then I started to work with Africell in 2022. And on the side, I get to do other things, and we're enjoying it.
Is it one of your goals to have your creative, artistic thing as your main job? And is it because now it seems like you're doing this 9 to 5, and after you take your time to do this? Is it something you're looking forward to, or you like this freedom?
I think I love freedom. I love the freedom to do what I want to do. Tracking back to when I said I love to, talk with young people and ask what they want to be. It's from a place of purpose. I've always lived with a sense of purpose of what I want to do in my life, where I want to be. I had this conversation with a friend today, and I said to him that, this thing we call security, how that people want to find a job to be secure and have a living and a living. I've always not wanted to be a part of that, because I feel like people start out, wanting to get a job to just go through a particular phase, and then sometimes it ends up as, oh, I need a secure thing for the time being, and then you grow on that, you build on that, you build a family, and then that becomes the major means of your livelihood, and you can't tend to live there, so I'm not one that has fancy the idea of a 9 to 5 from the onset, but having to find yourself in a new environment and trying to understudy, get to know the people, get to know who is in your area, who are the major people, league players that you can get to meet and stuff. So, I mean, I know it's been 3 years, but I think I'm still trying to, learn the place, meet the people, get to know who you can speak with. So until then, I'm still trying to take it one step at a time, but I mean, for someone who doesn't love a 9 to 5, for someone who is a creative, who is thinking big, you can trust that it's a big headache, being in that space, because sometimes you sit there and you're like, what am I doing here, but you just also tell yourself, Joseph, have to calm down. It's a process, so try to build from here. People also need to trust you. They need to see what you can do. They need to know you over time. So I'm trying, which is why one of the in 2022 I decided to do a short film of my own, so that, I mean, let me not keep telling people I can do this. Let me do something by myself, so they can see, and then I've been privileged to do a couple of jobs here and there, events, and some people have seen, but we're still growing. A few people are saying what I can do, what I can offer, and they're reaching out, and I'm trusting that with time would get what we want. But at the moment, I'm still keeping to the 9 to 5.
I feel you. You start a 9 to 5 on the side, and you can easily get rested here. But in the same time, a problem with some creative departments is that it costs a lot. For example, when you're mostly trying to film, make videos, make movies, it costs at least a minimum of movie. You cannot go there and say it costs zero money. like, okay, I think there are some arts like drawing or stuff that are less expensive. You just need a piece of paper and a pen. You don't need that fancy setup. But when you get into the movie industry and things like that, even like sometimes people are saying, oh, just start with what you have, just use your phone. Okay, but who's buying the phone?
I know, right?
Who's buying the phone? So this is also something where
it's capital intensive, and which is why one of the things one needs to do is build relationships well and get to meet people and see how to start, whichever way one will learn to start small. And I guess that's also the reason why I'm still trying to, do a job on the side to, raise funds and then keep, moving and meeting people. Sometimes your first project might not be the big one, so like I did with the short film I did, it had to be a small, budget one from monies that say from other things I'd done. So I had to rent equipment, because trust me, to buy equipment, they're expensive,
Yeah, even the rent is expensive.
I mean, even the renting, especially if it's not a job, that you're just doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to do it and ensure that the film got out there, because I had to focus on, so one of the things with being a creative also is there are times when you want to create ideas that are really brilliant. This is what you're thinking, you're dreaming this, it's amazing, but it's not really what the consumers want, or, so you're thinking between, do I make this thing a commercial project so that, who can pay for this, or do I do something I really want to do? So I've been in between that and that for a long time. So particularly the project I made was even one with the hope to sell or to have organizations interested in it, because it was centered around gender-based violence. Even at that, I wasn't able to get anyone, so it's been on my drive for a long time. Until recently, I just uploaded on my YouTube channel and hoping for whatever happens with it. But I know that it's a process, it's growth, and we'll get to where we want to be.
I completely feel you once again.
Yeah.
And just to switch, you were talking about the importance of making relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know from your experience here in the Gambia, and maybe you can also talk from Nigeria, how do you find the creative environment with other people? Do you feel like it's more competitive and this vibe where, oh my God, you should not share your idea with someone because he's gonna steal it and things like that? Or it's more supportive, or maybe it's nuance and shades, because life is not black or white. But
yes, it's not black and white.
Experience
I'll also be careful to not say some things,
Yes,
because
sorry.
this
is not good. Don't watch it, the creative people. Don't watch it.
but I'd say for a fact, sometimes it's not just the industry, it's persons or people that make up the industries, and so you have absolutely nice people, and you also have people who are not, willing or are not open to, the idea. So, but you meet some people and they just embrace your ideas, embrace what you can do and offer, and just want to find ways to work with you, and I think I've been privileged to meet a few of that. There are other people that you think have what you need, and then you're still trying to, how can I get this done? Can you help me with this? You would not also, blame people. That's also their means of living and getting things done. So, but I think that I would say it's been fair. I would say it's been fair. I think I'll just keep it at that. I'd say it's been fair. It's been a mixture of, I've met people who are willing to, open the doors, and say, okay, this is what, is tenable. This is what you can do. Or, okay, when I get calls for these things, we can, work together, get you on board. So, I think I've had that. We want more, we want every other persons to be able to open up. Sometimes there might be the issue of fright where you think, oh, this person might take over what I've been building for a while. And I think that, also you wouldn't blame them, because some of these people are doing these things from experiences. Other people have done things and run away with, jobs or clientels and all of that. So people would need to be a little more, guarded with what they do. So it's a mixture of both. But I think it's fair. It's been fair so far.
And you're also talking about opening doors, and it makes me think that since I'm here in the Gambia, which is not a long time, just 6 months, as I said, I've seen a lot of changes and a lot of first times. What I mean is, since I'm here, I saw the first short film festival ever in the Gambia.
Yeah.
So the first MMA fight competition in the Gambia.
Okay.
And I think there are more stuff that I cannot recall. So there's a lot of
new things
happening. So from my point of view, it seems like, oh wow, there's hope. There's so many, not just hope, but there's so many things happening. It's dynamic.
Yeah.
And is that what you felt also? And maybe from 3 years, you have another.
I think that it's a sign of good or better things to come. So I'll put this out there. I think in 2021, UNFPA put out they had this project, around gender-based violence. Yeah, and then they had this competition and photo for change. It was a challenge for photographers and creatives, to use and pictures as a means of storytelling to end in FGM. And a friend reached out to me, and I was a part of that challenge. And luckily for me, I won. That was the first time I came into Alliance, is when I was telling you what we're working in. So I won that challenge, and it was good. So after the time, I met with the director, and I had a meeting with her and said, because of my love for young people and because of my love for wanting to help people get from a point to desired destination, I've been speaking to just a close circle of people, but I'm willing to reach out more to see who would be interested in these conversations. And I shared a couple of ideas, one of which was to host a short film festival, and this was in way back in 2022, and there were other conversations I shared, there were other things I wanted to do, and I still want to do them, but at the time, I felt like I'm not sure I had, the capacity to draw the attention of people to make that happen. And I wanted to just take the back seat first and then build relationships and, get to meet a lot more people in the industry, because it would be unwise for me to be in a new place and think I want to just create something on my head, from my head by myself without getting to know who are the major people doing that here, So, but fast forward, I got to hear of a film festival that was going to happen, and that was in 2023 last year. And I was like, oh, wow. I thought about this in 2022, and then it's happening by someone else. And trust me, all I felt was excitement. I didn't feel bothered that it was done by someone else, but I felt like it was done by someone who had the capacity to. And it was someone that, funny thing, I was writing backstory again. I got into town in 2021, and I got, to meet a lot of people. They kept telling me different stories about the Gambia, about the young people, I mean, some good, some bad, some, how that they love laid back people, young people who don't want to do anything. And then the next thing that came to mind was to write a film. And I started to write a film around the Gambia, trying to infuse mentorship and, because sometimes we do not know the power of mentorship. It's not enough to have skills. You need people to mentor you. So I was writing something up, and then I was thinking of someone to be a major character, because I remember that in this movie, Queen of Katwe, a while back. I remember the story, and I was looking for someone around the line of David Oyelowo. He's I think he's a Nigerian British actor, I think. And I was thinking, and someone told me, oh, there's a Babu Sise who is Gambian boys and he's in Hollywood and all of that. I'm like, okay, I penned them down. At the time, I did not know him, but I checked him up. And fast forward, I hear Babu Sise is down. Okay, nice. And the next thing is the one hosting the. I'm just like, okay, I think this is a dream come true for me. So I wanted this to happen, and whether or not it happened through me, it did happen with someone else. So I was excited for that, and I'm sure that's just the beginning of many more, because I'm sure he also doesn't want it to end there. And it's just a ray of hope, because there's a lot of things to happen. I tell people the filming industry is more than just holding a camera or someone acting in front of the camera. There's a lot. If the people get to understand, and then we build a community around that, you are empowering a lot of people, because you have a lot of departments to groom people into. There's costume, there's makeup, there's set design, there's sound design, there's a filming, there's music, there's a lot of things, that is going to give, open doors to many more things to come, both within the filming industry and, outside of it. So yeah, I think that there's a lot more to be tapped in this country, a lot more.
Yes,
a lot more. There's a lot of opportunities.
And the energy during the short film festival was crazy.
It was amazing.
It was amazing to have everyone coming together, having more and more ideas. I think everyone was also like you, in a good mood and impressed by, okay, it's happening
this
for
is
real.
Happening here.
So since we can do it, we can do so much more. And it was a wonderful energy, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And we also talked about this, that there's not really a Gambian film industry so far, but that it would be amazing to grow it, because there's so many jobs that can grow from it.
Yeah.
And the film industry, is way more developed in Nigeria. Do you think of using this as an opportunity, or it's dear to your heart to stay in the Gambia for now?
Okay. I'm going to answer that from a different perspective, because I see myself as one who I do not just up and pick up things to do by myself. I mean, I'm always interested in the God factor. Yeah. So what does God want me to do at any particular time? So I remember that when I shared the story of how I came to Gambia, I said it without mentioning that part. But before the call came in, I already, there's a time I was at work and my dad calls me and says, oh, he was in a prayer session, and then he got a message for me that I was going to get a call for an international job. And when it comes, I should, go with it, and this was way before the call came in. And following the call from my dad, I then had the dream, and then immediately I had the dream and the call came in. I just pieced one and two together. I'm like, okay, so this is going to happen, and funny thing is, when the call came in, it was, okay, we need one person for this project. And then the call came back and said, oh, we need someone else. They will not need you again. And then the call came back and said, okay, now they will need 2 more people. I'm like, okay. So at the time, I didn't even have my international passports fixed, but I went on to fix it and said, this is going to happen whether or not, you guys like it, and then the next time the guy calls me again and says, guy, what are you doing? Whatever you are doing, you must continue doing it, because now they're insisting on having then you come, and at the point they were delaying, and I said, guys, tell these people that I've prepared every document, I spent a lot of money to be on this trip, so they cannot afford to cancel again. And then that's it. So to answer your question, whether or not I'm interested in the Gambia right now, because if I'm in Nigeria, a lot of people would be doing what I think I want to do, and then the film industry is already there. And I'm not even saying that I'm the savior for the film industry here, but I think there's a lot more ideas that I think I have that will be beneficial. I just want to engage the mind of the young people, wherever I find myself. So whether here, whether in Nigeria, whether outside of Africa, so wherever I am at the time, I just want to do what is needed to be done, and as long as it's in line with purpose and what God will have me do at any particular time, I'm good. So yeah, that's it.
I'm happy you mentioned the God parameter, because I wanted to ask you before, when you said that you didn't know nothing about Gambia but you just came, I thought, oh, adventurous. This feeling must come, and should come from somewhere. Funny enough, I had quite a similar thing while coming to Gambia, because I was applying to some stuff and I got accepted here. And when I got accepted, I was like, I did all of this, but now I'm coming to a country I don't know nothing about, and they said yes. They say for 9 months. What is that? And I called my dad. I was sure he was going to be like so shocked, like, what? Where are you going? And he was indeed so shocked, but so shocked that the only thing he told me was, okay. You know what? I cannot deal with this. You will go to God, and you should do this prayer that's called the consultation prayer. It's when you go to God and you say, okay, I have these two choices to make, hard decision. Please help me and make it very easy for me if this is the one for me. Close it and block my way if this is not for me. And after this, of course, it was so easy. I felt like with you with the call, like anything could happen, but it was meant to be for me to be.
It was. And I think it does something to us. It just helps us, to be strong with the decision, because sometimes if you don't have the extra backing, you still will be filled with a lot of doubt. So I heard the message. It didn't make it any easier though, but because it feels like you're moving from the place you've known all your life, what you're used to, what you're comfortable with, but because you also hope in something that's bigger than you're expecting that, okay, this next place should be what the next phase of life should be for you. And then I was just looking forward to, and the funny thing is, the first, when I got in here and the company I had to work with, it was a bittersweet experience there. And I kept telling the people around me that I don't think my coming to Gambia is just like everyone else. I think there's more to me in the Gambia, and I'm going to do a lot more things. I wasn't sure what they were going to be, but I just knew that there was a lot of things, And then my work with the particular company was supposed to be for 1 year, but was terminated at 6 months for things I'm not going to talk about, And then the next 6 months for me in that year were miserable, because it was my first time being here. But luckily for me, I already built a family, from a church I used to attend, and a couple of friends, and just welcomed me and helped me settle in. And between the end of 2021 and now as we speak, the difference is like night and day, And then I met one of the persons that knew me in the first 6 months I was in town, and they saw me and it was like, I remember you said that there's a lot more for you, And I'm like, well, we're just starting. There's still a lot more, we are not there yet, but we are not where you used to be. So those things give you an encouragement even during downtimes, So sometimes I'm unsure of a lot of things. So the fact that you hear, or that you are sure that you're meant to go to a place, doesn't even make it easier. Many times you still go through doubting moments. So there are times when it's down, but I remember where I was, I remember where I am now, and I'm just sure of all of the things that are going through my mind, and I know that there's a lot more to come, a lot more to be done, So if there's anything I want to do, is just keep empowering myself, for when the opportunity is right, and all of that. So yeah.
And for sure, your mission here is bigger than you and bigger than anything we can even imagine.
Yeah.
And there's one other topic that I'm sure we have to talk about, is your engagement with the youth, because this is coming a lot. So where does that come from? What's your motivation, and what are you actually putting in place to help the youth?
Okay, so this is, I was telling a friend recently, sometimes I just get to have plans in my head over and over, and I don't get to work on them.
Same. Sorry, same.
But this is not something I would leave to linger a lot, and a lot more. I cannot particularly say where this interest came from, but over time I just could tell. Like I said, growing up, I love to solve problems, I love to fix things. One of the things my parents love me for in the house. So I see something's wrong, I want to fix it. I see something's wrong, but over time I'd seen my interactions with people, how I try to be there for people who do some things, and over time again, and because I'm just one who is self-conscious, you
Yes.
know, and then and notice the little things, you know. I could send something that almost every another person is not saying, you know. So I could just walk up to you and like, oh, are you good? Oh, I noticed this thing about you.
Yeah.
So I do that with, you know, with other people and with myself. So I know what is happening within me and with the people around me, and I've realized over time that I just want to be in that space with people. So like I said, I could meet somebody and I'm like, oh, what's your plan? What are you doing? And I mean, you can tell me something, and once if I can find the means of helping you get from here to here, or if I know a third party who can help you, I'm already thinking, I'm already in the savior zone, wanting to find a way, okay, to help this person, you know. I just realized that over time, and then coming into media space. And so when I got in here also, I just felt like I saw a lot of things that were not really there are some things that could be,
Not optimal.
you know, and then you see young people and the kind of conversations they have and what people do, and I'm like, okay, there's more, there can be more, you know. And I guess it's just for my own personal development time. So if you fill this glass with water, the more you fill it, it cannot be dry, you know. So it's going to be wet, you know. You would have, you know, even if you take the water out of it, it will take a while before it gets dry. So if you've taken or consumed a lot of information and the kind of people I've listened to over the years and the books I've read, it keeps you in a state where you just want to move, you want to be in motion, you know. So I see a lot of things and I feel like, okay, there should be something done here. So sometimes last year or 2 years, I think last year, I started to do, you know, video content where I just talk and put up stuff there on my Instagram, and then I stop, because I'm also one who can be very self-critical, you know. And I was saying to myself, I mean, I don't just want to say things because I know them. I want to say things because I also do them, and that's my lifestyle, you know. So I took a break, but many times that thought can also be one that limits us, because many times we don't have to be where we want to be to get started. We start to get to where we want to be, you know. And I think one of the content that I've put out there is some of the people we are looking up to and saying, no, I want to be like this person, I want to be able to do what this person is doing. Some of them are, what we are doing is we are wishing to be where these people are, but they are doing our wishes.
Yes.
So rather than wish, they are doing the thing to help them get there. So they are not even where they want to be, but they are doing what we are thinking we want to do. So the only way to becoming what those persons have become is to do, you know, also try, you know. And so as you just keep taking one step, you know, so many times we do not even know how we are going to fine tune the things. But when you start, you begin to know, okay, I cannot do this. You know one less way to do a thing, and you know one better way, you know, to do a thing. So I decided to do those talks here, and I just feel like there's a lot more. But I mean, there are different ideas I've had, you know, and one of the things I think is I've been blessed with the gifts of being able to tell stories, being able to create stuff, being able to make films. So I also want to, if I'm going to do anything, I should be able to empower people with that skill also, you know. But I'm not going to limit people to that skill because that's what I have. The idea is going to be to build a network of other people who have mastered other skills and, you know, do other things. So so in case other people are not interested in what I do, they can be interested in what someone else, you know, is doing. You know, we can just grow. Beyond that, I know one of the things I spoke with the director here is I've loved the game of chess for a long time for different reasons. Because I mean, I think I just love the game. Maybe because it's a mind tasking game, you know, and I think that I would like to maybe spot the interest of people in this game too. But I'm not a master at the game of chess. I mean, I just love the game. You know, I learned it, and at the point I dropped it, but I still can play. I can find my way around it. If I have the chance to be a master, trust me, I'll pick it. You know, but I mean, I don't necessarily have to be a master of chess before I can start up something around chess. But then the bigger picture is not just coming to play chess, but I just want to have a community of young people around who are beginning to grow an interest in something. And then as we do that, we begin to talk and engage, you know. So many times it doesn't have to be a one person speaking to everybody. It's just everybody growing and seeing things and then pick up conversations, you know. And then I also wanted to, you know, create scenarios from the game of chess, you know, and then trying to interpret them into live, you know, scenarios. So when you're moving this pawn here, assume that this person is taking this step. So now if you're going to move this pawn, and so trying to relate the game of chess and every move to every decision one has to make, you know. So there's a lot more, and I also wanted to make a film from that, you know. And this is just one idea of many, you know, that I've had. You know, I've thought of wanting to have a book club, not because I love to read books also, not because I just want people to read, but just to have a community of young people that gives you access to talking, you know, and then just engaging, and then I mean, it's just one mind at a time, shaping one mind at a time, speaking to one person at a time, you know. And then I've not been able to start, you know. I spoke with a friend recently to say I have this idea, but I think I really need a community of people who are also interested in this, and maybe who are locals or people of this place that understand the terrain better than I do and can get into places that I will not be able to get, you know. So I don't sound as someone standing from outside and trying to make things happen, you know. So I mean, that space where I need to, I mean, these are things that are really heavy on my mind. I really want to get into them because I think that it's purpose for me. I find a lot of joy engaging people and speaking with people and then trying to help people get from A to Z. So yeah, even though I've not started, there are things on my mind that I really want to get to do. Yeah.
I love that. And with young people, when you're doing an action, I feel like you can see more clearly the impact that you have on them. You can see clearly how you are changing a life path, how you can create new opportunities, and this is really exciting.
Thank you.
And also about the chess, I heard that there's an association, we're going to talk about it, who is about bringing chess also to the Gambia.
All right.
And in general, it makes me think that there's so many associations here in the Gambia. I don't know so many, but I met some of them. And it feels like a lot of youth are really active and trying to make change and things. And it's really impressive and I think empowering. And for us also to come with this idea of creating a network and not for everyone to work in its own space. We have the potential. It will take work, but we have the potential to make it here.
Yeah, sure. I believe so.
And to close on your creative part, can you tell us about the work that you are the most proud of, so that after this video, people will have something else to look at?
Okay. Yeah. Which is that gonna be? Okay, so in the Gambia, I think I've just done one short film. I think it's nice, and people have seen it, think it's nice. But one of the things about creative is also you see something you've done and like, I think it can be better. I could have done a lot more.
And also, you watched it 10,000 times.
I've seen it a lot of times. And now,
again,
I mean,
again,
I did the edit. I did every part of it. I mean, I did the filming, even the lighting in the set, because it had to be a small team. It was all funded by me. I mean, there's nothing, so I had to light it up. I had to film. Called someone to help hold the mic up. I had the actor. I edited, worked with a friend to also do the sound. Then I edited. I did all of those, the coloring. So yeah, I'd watched it a couple of times. But at the time I did that, I think I was really excited that I made that happen. I mean, I've been a part of others in Nigeria. Funny thing is, I did a short. It was supposed to be a mini web series, 5 episodes, I think. It never saw the light of day. But I have one particular episode that's not totally edited, but it's on my Google Drive, and I just go back to watch it. And I'm like, sometimes I want to delete it to free space. I'm like, no, I have to keep this to say this is one of the first things I did.
This is where we started. In 10 years, this is gonna cost
I know, right?
a lot.
I know. So it's just there in my drive. But I didn't want to bring something I'd done in Nigeria here, so I wanted to do something from here, so I did that, but aside that, I have a couple of events. I have a wedding particularly, that I did on my Instagram page, and I think that a lot of people have seen it, really do love it. Funny thing is, the client, when she saw it, she literally sent me a picture of her crying, like,
oh wow,
I'm in tears.
Wow.
And I was excited. I mean, it made me feel so cool. Like, I was excited about it. She loved it, and she even at the point she said they had to do like a screening, herself and her friends and family, and then when they did, she said, "Guy, you need to see grown people crying watching this thing and all of that." And she said, "This is a 10 over 10. I don't have anything to change about it." And I'm like,
amazing.
Excited. That's what anybody wants to hear.
And the point of the art is to create a reaction.
I mean, for me, it's all about it's all about the moment. It's all about the story. It's all about. I mean, I also tell people when I film or do stuff, it's the moment. You want to capture the things, and you want to find the best way to convey, the message. And there are different parts to filming. There's, even with regards to post production, there's effects. A lot of people do VFX and other things. I'm not so into the VFX part, but should there be need for that, I would find someone who's good at that and do. But I'm more into story. I want to just tell a story. I want to speak with someone's mind. I want someone to see something. I even showed the video to someone recently, and I was like, Joseph, you did this here. So as I'm watching, all my body's responding to this. I'm like, that's what I want to get from anybody watching it. So it's on my Instagram, and but one of the issues with the video on Instagram is some songs don't have permission to play, so some people will not have access to seeing it. So, but should anyone need it, I could always send the links or something, or maybe I should even go ahead to upload on my YouTube, so they can watch from them. But I think the wedding is something I really do like. I have other commercials. I've done a few of them. You can find some things on my Instagram handle, Joseph Falodun, if you want to check. So you'd have the handle. You can just place it somewhere. So
everything here, and you go check it out.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you to you. And just to really, really close.
All right.
Do you have?
So we've done close, and we're doing really, really close. So then we'll go to really, 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 really close. And
you got the vibe. You got the vibe.
All right, cool.
So the before close.
Yeah.
Do you have maybe an advice for the young people out here wanting to do the same as you? And is there something specific here to the Gambia that would come into this advice, or there's nothing specific as to being a creative here? You know what I mean?
Okay, I feel like I'm being put on the spot, but if I have to say, it might not be just one thing, but try to find a way to merge them together. Relationship is key.
It is.
Try to build relationships.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think I can say a lot of things without saying that, because a lot of my getting to where I am right now is not based on just what I can do or what I can offer. I think relationships has also been a part of what has gotten me to where I am right now. Yeah, be open-minded. But another thing, I mean, which was one of the things I was trying to infuse in the movie I was going to write, is mentorship. Skill is not just enough. Many times, one thing I learned from someone in Nigeria, he says two things that help someone to achieve success is capacity and character. So you can have capacity, and you can take you as far, but then without character, it brings you down, so, and vice versa. One of the things I've seen is people tend to use their capacity, the skills that they have, as a cover to hide out every other thing that their flaws. So they just assume, I'm good at this thing, so people will need me. But it gets to a time where people can do without you, or they find options. They find someone who can do half as much as you can, but that they can work with. So I think the character is also a part of building relationships. So it's their kind of part and together. Mentorship it's dicey because one person really sometimes cannot mentor you all around. You might find, also one of the things that got me started into mentorship, I read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and at the time, and just years back, and it made me see the need to reach out to somebody and say, okay, I see you prospering in an area that I would like to grow in, and I want you to be my mentor in this. So many times mentorship doesn't mean that the person is well-rounded in everything. It doesn't mean that you look for someone who is the same person who is good and then has poor habits or poor everything. There has to be a balance, but just to say, sometimes even the people that will mentor you are not perfect people. So, and I end with this story. And listening to this person, and he was saying that he had this friend of his who was talking about people that were under him. He was a leader. He was leading from people they are looking up to. And then sometimes they also copy mannerisms and copy, other things that they do. So before long, the people that were following this particular leader started to walk the way this leader was walking. I think sometimes it happens subconsciously. Sometimes people just like someone so well and they want to pick up everything, And then so this person they were copying now was saying to this other person that was reporting to this third person, saying, and this person said, unknown to the people following me, the reason I walk this way is because I was a victim of an accident and then it affected me. So that's why I walked that way. So, but then these people are copying it as a mannerism. So now what I learned from that is sometimes we learn from people and also copy their flaws. And some other times we assume we just don't know that people can teach us, but they also have flaws they're dealing with, and I infused that in the movie I was writing to say, okay, we need mentors. We can't run away from that. People have gone ahead of us. We don't need to learn by experience. We can learn from other people. We don't have to necessarily experience this thing. So we need to be humble enough to learn. We cannot, you just don't want to jump. A lot of young people these days want to just, this is what I want to do. I pick up this, I can do by myself and run, but sometimes you need to go through a process. Look for people you can learn from, that you can be mentors to, mentees to, and all of that. So I think mentorship, relationship, building character, I think those three things would get any young person far.
I completely agree with this, and I hope that somehow with this series we're going to be able to portray as much people as possible who can be mentors in different areas, and maybe people that the one watching can just reach out and be like, oh, I didn't know who was doing the same thing as me. Oh, he's here. So I hope this can help as well.
I'd look forward to people watching this to also be expectant that, I've said a lot of things here. I've said a lot of things I want to do, and I wouldn't want it to end at once. I would want them to really happen. So just in case you're looking forward to some of these things, fingers crossed, and hope with me that in the distance will happen. But I see a lot more things happening in the Gambia. There's a lot of young people, and Gambia is small. We can make things happen. We can put heads together, and do stuff. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think Gambia is the place to be. And if you're not there yet, you're missing out.
I know, right?
And in a few years, you won't be able to say, I regret it. We told you.
Yeah.
We told you.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for coming and
Thanks for having me
sharing
here.
Your experience, your history, and everything. I will link once again all your contacts here. You can please check it out. And I will see you very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.
Bye.